Hello everyone. In this video we will create a player character with statemachine. Our character will look like this at the end of our video, and I will also want to show you my main character from my own game. In this video you also see that you can create a much more complicated character with the same roadmap. My main character is only contain one more variable to check. I will show you a little part from my game. It is a test scene. Then we will go to the creation of our character. Just don't forget this is a test scene, so let's start our video. We will just simply start with creating a new scene. That should be a character body 2D. Name it whatever you want, it's up to you. We need a sprite 2D and we need a collision shape for our character. We are going to use only animation player and we will use it for our animations. We use a label to track our current state. We will have two raycasts, which will help us to identify either if we are in the ground or not. And we will be using another node 2D for our state machine and the state itself. There will be 9 states for this character. Let's add our picture to our sprite As you can see, it has 8 horizontal and 7 vertical. So let's put it on the animation side. And we will also need 2 area 2D for our attacks and also their collision shapes. They will be the areas for attacking the enemies. I just simply duplicated it and named it right. And finally we will have a progress bar so we can check our current health. You can place it wherever you want, and also you can size it as you like. You can just use it like this, but I will just put a little bit styles, a background and a fill. This is not a mandatory. It will be gray though, but it can be used. I just select the colors and the thickness, and let's save it. Okay, and then we will create the collision shapes. That seems okay. And this raycast should be above the ground, above your collision shape, so it will be really easy for it to check if you are entering into the finishing of the fall. And let's define the collision layers. This is important so you can collide with the things that you collide and not collide with the things that you don't collide. Especially in the attack areas, only should be mask, should not have own layer, but only mask the enemy layers, as you see. So let's have our animations. So to make the animations, we can just open our picture, and as you can see, it just creates a map of the picture, and every frame goes in a different one. So let's start with idle. You should want to have different frame per second FPS for every animation, because every animation should feel different. Like an idle animation should be acting a little bit slower, but on running it should be faster. And in this example we will have jumping way much faster. It makes it much more smoother. And if you have a looping animation, don't forget to click the looping button on the right. Okay, this one contains 8. This one contains only 8 frames, but we will make it on the 12 FPS. So you can just select the coordinates and apply it. the first row is 0 on the x-axis, and also first column is 0 for y-axis. So in the attack animation, I'm going to the second row and use first 4 frames and create the attack tool now. At first, playing around this can be a little bit tricky, but once you do certain amount of it, then it gets really easy. In the jumping animation, I will use the jump start and some part of loop. And as I said, in jump we will use really high FPS, so it's, as you can see, start with 0, 1, 2 and 3, third column, and then it moves to the fourth column and use some frames from there. And let's make the loop animation. And for loop animation, I will only use 1 frame and it will be keep happening. Then we will go to the third row and just add the frame that we want to have. No, fourth row. Okay, this should be doing good. And we will have the jump finish animation. I'm recording this after I record this audio after I record video, and I remember I had a little bit difficulty just adjusting which frames should it be. Then couple of checking and I saw I made the right call. As you can see, it's okay, you can just take it back and make the right one. This should be last 3 of the row 4 and first 3 of the row 5. Now I think it is correct. And finally we will have a dying animation. And this should be slow on the FPS side. As you can see, it is the 6th Y column. And also we can call functions from animations, and which we will call the Q free when we die. So we don't have to write another code inside our script, and it will be much easier to manage. And in the attack 1 and attack 2, we will have to adjust our attack areas. We don't want our attack areas to be active all the time, so we will just enable and disable it inside our animation. So we disabled it and add a track, then enabled it on the right position, then add another track, and after respectable frame we disabled it, and we do it for the attack 2 as well. By the way, you can have more than one areas for one animation of attack. By the way, when you make your own character, it's important to note that you don't have to make this kind of stuff perfect on the first time. You just have to be exactly sure that it works. Then you can just simply adjust it on the way. This looks okay. And we are finished with this. And we will open the state machine code and the states code itself. As you can see, it just does the best to find the current state and the previous state, and entering the new state and exiting the last state. And we also check if we can move and if we can jump in the air in this states. So this should be on the state machine, and they all should be in the states itself, each state. As you will see soon, we can just check our variables inside the states, and if we want them to move on that state, then we click it. If we don't, we just click it off. In this example, we cannot move while attacking, but in some cases it can be done, so it is really helpful along the way. And we check it if we want to jump on the air or not. In this scenario, we want to be able to jump in the air in the jump start, but let's not do it in the jump end because it's the finishing of the state. And in the air jump state, we also do not jump again in the air, but in full state we can have a buffer jump, something like that. And in the dead state we do not do it. And all of them, just go and extend your script so you can write your script above this main state code. Just extending all of the scripts now. We will write our code later in the way. By the way, I will not be typing the scripts in this video. Instead, I will just copy and paste them from the previous project. So the idea is you just can pause the video and just see it for yourself. Because if I start to write it all the way, then it will take really long time, like 2-3 hours to all of it. Let's create the main code. We will have some onReady variables, some export variables, and some normal variables in the way. We will have to be using, as you see, onReady, sprite2d, raycast, attack areas, and state machine. And we will have health and speed and jump speed, something like that, as export variables. And we will have the rest of the variables to be able to just switch the states along the way. Then in the progress physics process, we will have the progress bar. Always keep our health. And also if we are in the floor or not, and can we jump in certain situation or not. And also with our inputs, what is our direction, is it right or left or nothing. And also our speeding and slowing function. With this we have to use our move and slide. It's an embedded function, and also 3 more. This update player position is, as you can see, for a global script which we will use for our enemies to find our position or checkpoints to be able to active. And the rest is we will do it in 1 second. In player position, we will scale our attack areas and sprite. And in state switch, we will change the state of our variables so we can change our states. As you can see, we make some variables true or false with this state switch. It's important to note that if you use a way like this, you should be putting the less likely thing to happen on the more top and more likely thing to the less top. So for this project it is like this. And we will use a function to reset our can air jump variable, and we will have signals for this attack areas. It will detect if and body is entered or not. As you can see, it has this little marks in both sides, and now we say if body is in group enemy, then the body should start its own function take damage with the number of our player damage. And we have a healing function. If we use healing potions, then it will apply. Then our take damage function. If our current health is less than or equal to 0, then we die. And in die function, we just simply change our state to the dead state. As you see, we did not give any order of changing state other than the dead state, because in this situation any order given from the main code will override the state codes inside the states. Then you should only be giving few like hurt or dead from the main code. The rest should be done within the state. As you can see, we just simply enter the state and play the animation. Then we say, okay, now we can change the state. And if we can change the state, then which state should it be? But in animations that does not loop, then we wait the animation to finish. And along the way, we can just check on the owners. Owner means the main code. The main code is if something is right or wrong, we can check it and we can change it. As you see, again, we wait for animation to finish and we change the state of a variable in owner can combo attack. Then we change our state. I strongly recommend you to just make a map beforehand to understand that from which animation to from which state, then you can change it to the next state. Like you see, we start with the jump start animation and wait for it to finish. Then we play the loop animation and we just say, okay, you can change the state whenever the next thing occurs. In that state, you do not have to have a transition because the game will be over. But if you want to be, I don't know, reborn or something, then you can transfer it, transition it to there. That's just basically it, guys. I personally had a lot of difficulty adjusting my state mechanism at the first, but this system is way too good for me, and I build every enemy I have with this system and my main character for my game with this system. Okay, we will start the game and make some tests. And I know from the we have not chosen couple of things. We have made couple of mistakes. First of all, we didn't have a camera. We need a camera to follow our player, and we didn't choose the player group we will have to choose. And let's go to our scene and move the debug label a little bit up. Okay, we start with the idle state. We can change our states and everything is working fine. We will only have to go back and select our group so enemies can detect us. Right now they cannot detect us. We can damage them, we can detect them, but they cannot detect us, as you can see. After that, it should be okay. As you see, we did it. Now everything should be working fine. Guys, thanks for watching. If you like, just subscribe. And sorry for the audio, I am a little bit sick, so my sound is probably not so much fun to hear. And if you have any questions or any suggestion or any recommendation, I don't know, you can just write it in the comments. Hope you like it and find it useful.